it cost too much. And he said, no, you can't afford it. I thought, whoa, what a new way to look at it. I'm telling you, some of that drama of giving up, that it was them, it was the economy, it was my negative relatives, it was my boss, it was the company pay, the unions and the wage scale and circumstances. It took me a while to give that up. It's like going through withdrawals. But when I finally did it and started this fresh journey of looking in, because that's where the problem was. That's where I had to get straightened out. And the drama happened for me in such spectacular fashion. Got this phrase down. The major value in life is not what you get. The major value in life is what you become. The major question to ask on the job is not, what am I getting here? The major question to ask on the job is, what am I becoming here? Because it's not what you get that makes you valuable, it's what you become. Now, once I understood that, I started working on this thing called personal development. Jot this down. Success is something you attract by the person you become.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the foundations of Scum. Now, recently on my Supermax server, I died quite a few times. I'm actually in a minus. And there's a lot of people that tell me they even struggle on official settings. There's a lot of people that hasn't done an abandoned bunker yet. There's a lot of people that hasn't done a kill box yet. There's a lot of people struggle with the game. And what I realized when I was dying on Supermax, not because the server is difficult, but because when I stream, my focus is having fun. My focus is not looking good or mastering the game or never dying. Like, just because I did martial arts for 3 years doesn't mean I want to beat up people. You know, just because I know how to do kitchen cabinets and bedroom cabinets doesn't mean I want to make them for the rest of my life. Just because you know how to do something doesn't mean it's always the right thing to do. But when it comes to your struggles in Scum, there are foundational things that you need to have to be able to do what I do in my guides, or when you see me doing an abandoned bunker, or when you see me doing a kill box, or when you see me killing a puppet in 2 seconds, or you see me going through a military POI like I don't have a care in the world. And those foundations, like, I don't have a problem with you trying your own thing. You know, like starting with a 1 strength character or 1 constitution character or 1 dexterity character or 1 intelligence character. There's nothing wrong with experimenting. But once you're not getting the same results as someone else, you need to start listening. You need to start understanding how the person is able to do what they're doing. Now, does my 10,000 hours in Scum help me a lot? Yes. But I don't have any special skills. My only special skill is immersing myself, knowing how to have fun, and figuring things out. But lately on Supermax, my biggest weakness is being overconfident. I discovered the brawling skill and now want to brawl everything. Death. How do you brawl a suicide puppet? How do you brawl 5 level 5 NPCs shooting you with sniper rifles? How do you kill a puppet with a baseball bat and, you know, with a nailed baseball bat if you don't have 4.5 strength? If you don't have medium to advanced melee weapons? Those are the foundations that I need you guys to focus on. For all of you that are struggling, at the end of this video, there's a playlist. And if you're struggling, I need you to start from the beginning. If you've had time to do your own thing, but you failed, start from the first video. Use the build I'm using. Follow the steps that I take. And I promise you, it's like building a house. If your foundation isn't solid, everything will come crashing down. And it's the same with Scum. The reason that I've died a lot in my last few streams on Supermax is because I stopped doing the things that I've always done. And the biggest secret in life is habits. As soon as you form a habit, it's not difficult or challenging to do something anymore. For a person that's never woken up at 6 o'clock in the morning, it's very difficult to start waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning. But for the other person that has scheduled their day and their sleeping schedule so that they always wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, they don't even need an alarm clock to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning anymore. They will wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning automatically. Due to habits, good habits. So all I ask you is, if you're struggling in Scum, go to the first video of the series. Don't play the video at 1.5 or 2 times speed. Listen to what I'm saying. Pause the video. Make notes. And understand that there's a really good reason for everything I'm doing, because of the experience I have in the game. So if you're struggling, make sure that your build is correct. Make sure that your starting skills are correct. Make sure that you don't do what other people tell you to do, which is run into the big city as soon as you spawn, or run into the B2 airfield. Even if you've seen me run into the B2 airfield 1,000 times, if you're struggling, you are not supposed to run into the B2 airfield. You are supposed to start looting small little towns, small little farm steads. You're supposed to start in the safe zone and then work your way to the medium danger zone. And then, once you're comfortable with that, try out dangerous zones. But yes, that's the message that I want to give you today. I've got a weakness, which is direction. And I promise you, I started this video walking west or running west when my base is east. And that's why I always focus on having a compass, because it is a weakness of mine. So I have to work on that weakness. People tell me, read the stars. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west, or whatever the case may be. I'm never going to focus on something like that. Do I know technically what they are saying? Yes. Is it something that I will naturally do? No. It's not something that I really focus on. Can I learn how to do it? Yes. But it's way easier for me just to teach myself how to get to basic survival really quickly, craft a compass, and then I know where I'm going. So there's certain things that I have to keep doing, like crafting a bow every single time I start. I promise you, if you are dying repeatedly as a new player, you are not doing the fundamentals. You are definitely not using the build I've given you. You are not crafting a bow and 12 arrows with an axe. You are not crafting a metal spear. You are not taking your time. You are running everywhere. People complain that puppets spawn on top of them. If you watch those people play the game, you will see them running into POIs instead of jogging or walking into POIs. I am running now. But if I enter the B2 airfield, you won't see me running like this. I will pause, take stock of the situation, see all the sentries pathing. Now, it's difficult for me to explain to you every single thought that goes through my head when I enter the B2 airfield or when I enter a dangerous POI. The reason that I don't think about explaining everything I'm thinking is because it's automatic to me. Because I've done it 1,000 times, I don't need to think about what I'm doing anymore. But at the beginning, I had to think of what I'm doing. I had to study the sentry's pathing. I had to study my stealth skill compared to how far away they can hear me when I'm jogging or running. I had to die 1,000 times to understand what I was doing wrong. So I want you to focus on the fundamentals. And the biggest fundamental I want to give you today is specifically if you're struggling. Quests is going to be your number one resource for getting back on your feet. Like, there's nothing worse than dying if you can't afford a sector spawn. Think to yourself, just because you didn't do the fundamentals correctly, just because you didn't craft that boat, didn't start at a farm, didn't loot a bunch of towns, didn't get the smartphone as soon as possible, didn't start doing quests as soon as possible, didn't start selling basic items, you'll die and then you have to do a random spawn and maybe lose your body that you might have spent an hour or 2 hours looting with that body. So doing the basics saves you time, and skipping the basics wastes a lot of time. That is the biggest thing I've learned with my last few recent deaths on Supermax. Now, I do stream on Supermax. I do try and entertain people, but that doesn't mean I'm blind to what I'm doing wrong. Okay? So we've got 38 fame at the moment. We need 50 fame to buy broadhead metal arrows. We need fame to buy tactical armor. We need fame to buy guns, to buy ammo, to buy a bicycle, to buy a dirt bike. We need fame to make things easier for ourselves. And we don't want to take any major risks before we get there. And questing is one way to do basic things and increase your fame and be selective with the quests that you take. I'll explain that to you when I get to the trader. All I'm going to do now is run back to my base, drop off all the loot that I got from that looting puppet, drop off my cooking books, and then I'll see you guys at the trader. How many of you falls your, let's say you drop off a bunch of stuff at your base and you want to go to the trader? How many of you load your backpack with logs or stones or anything heavy so that you're close to your max carry weight so that you can, while you're running to the trader, not doing anything important? How many of you focus on adding that weight to your character so that you can gain more strength and more constitution? and put your character under more pressure and gain more endurance? How many of you do that? As you guys saw, there was a boat at that dock over there. A lot of people have abused that boat because if you play on a low pop server or you play in sandbox mode, that boat will keep respawning. So it's very easy for you to make a paddle the boat over here, sell it, wait for it to respawn, and then sell it again. But those aren't good habits. Whenever you're taking a shortcut, it is not a good habit. Ask yourself, if I have got the skill to go into an abandoned bunker immediately, why don't I go into an abandoned bunker immediately? Ask yourself that question. I want to be able to do everything Luthais does, and I want to have as much fun as Luthais has. How are you going to do exactly what I'm doing and have as much fun as I'm having if you don't follow the same steps? Can I go into an abandoned bunker immediately? Yes. Loot all the sleeping quarters, get armor quickly, get military clothing quickly, get a helmet quickly, get a memory module quickly, get a few screwdrivers quickly, open up the armories quickly, get a gun quickly, get ammo quickly. You know, do Brenner's armories, be fully geared within an hour. But that's a shortcut. That is not how I teach myself how to play a survival game. So if you're struggling, ask yourself, how many shortcuts have you taken? Are you the person that when he's played the game, now an in-game day in-game is 4 hours. So we're almost at 1.5 days in-game, which gives me about 6 hours. How many of you, when you've played with a new character for 6 hours, is almost at 3 dexterity or has gained almost 0.5 dexterity? How many of you have gained 5,000 constitution? How many of you have gained almost 4,000 strength? How many of you have gained 50% endurance if you start with no endurance? How many of you know that when you start with no endurance, your stamina recovery rate is in a negative? Your energy usage is in a negative. Your water usage is in a negative. Okay? Energy and water, that's not really a negative, but minus 5% recovery rate to your stamina is a negative. That's why I'm filling my character with weight. I want to get my endurance up as quickly as possible because in the snow, I know I can't lie down, so when I crouch down to regain my stamina, it takes a little bit longer. But what you must ask yourself is, what habits have you formed that always works? Because if you never craft a bow every time you die, very difficult that you will always get back to your body or that you'll never die. How many of you add weight to yourself when you run? How many of you have bought a bicycle? Because I promise you, most people that struggle try and build up a car immediately. And then they stop running. So they just drive their car everywhere. And then they struggle with constitution. Many people don't cook their food and then they struggle with exhaustion. So what I want you to realize is the fact that I am having fun is not because I'm running to a military POI as soon as I start the game. The reason that I'm having fun is that I'm experiencing everything there is to experience, and I'm doing things at the same speed as what I always do things. Now ask yourself, how many hours you've played Scum? And what do you get excited about? And I'm going to tell you, every single time I start a new character, I am very excited
No loitering. You either buy or get lost.
to buy a mountain bike because it gives me a goal. Now, tier 1 quests isn't going to get me to a vehicle really quickly. It's not going to get me to a quad very quickly. But it's going to get me to a bicycle, a mountain bike really quickly. And then my next target is a cruiser or a dirt bike. Those are the small things that matter to me.
What do you want?
A lot of people just spend their money and then their whole game falls apart when they can't sector spawn. I know on official settings it costs $1,000 sector spawn. So I'm not going to let my money drop below 1,000 ever, because I know anything can happen. Doesn't matter what my skill set is, I can make mistakes. And if I make a mistake and I can't sector spawn to get to my body quick enough and I've only got a random spawn, I can lose my body. I spend time getting the hiking backpack. I spend time getting the military quiver and the helmet and the armor and the clothing and the loot. I spend time getting that mobile phone. Although, you know, losing the mobile phone won't hurt you now.
Welcome, welcome. Could you help me with these?
Okay, these are custom quests that I'm going to have to delete. These are custom quests that I'm going to have to do. Okay, I forgot that we did a lot of tests with custom quests. So, yeah.
That's disappointing. Hope you change your mind.
Like I'm gonna do the tier 1 quest, guys. And the quests really help you to progress at the right speed. Like finding a toolbox forces you to go to a town. Towns are good at the start. Finding a metal needle forces you to kill puppets. That's great at the start. Touching televisions is easy at the trader. Touching aircons forces you to go to a town and go loot the tuck shops or the police stations. You know, getting sexy shorts, you're going to get that in a town, in a normal house. So the quests help you to focus on the things that you're supposed to focus on at the start. Then you open up the armorer. Now, I don't like the armor because the armor is asking for a lot of ammo boxes. You're not supposed to be running into military POIs. You could find the ammo at police stations, but I mean, ammo boxes are rare. So when you get to the armor, again, just focus on the things that are natural. Killing puppets with the sharp tool. Killing puppets with a blunt tool. Killing puppets with a bow. This all helps you to understand what you like and what you don't like. Okay? Just like I know that, okay, I thought that would be worth more.
Let's see what you have.
But I know I need, at least I got the mask, which is worth a bit of money. But I know that 82% means I'm losing 20% of that value. So repairing it with a sewing kit is going to add 18% of the value, which puts it up to $750. So I know that a content creator mask is worth a lot of money. I can remember that. I can memorize that. And now because of the money that I made with those basic items, I really didn't think that the Santa hat would be so little, but at least I picked up the other mask because
Here's what I got.
I know that a problem with my metabolism will always be vitamin D. So over time, I have figured out something that works, and I'm not going to change what works. Why would I ever want to change something that I figured out over time that works? Okay, so that's my vitamin D. That's my vitamin E. That's my vitamin B12. Let's see what happens
Here's what I got.
when I eat half of the cornflakes, the entire pear, all 3 kiwis, and half of the milk. Okay, so I ate a little bit more than half. Unfortunately, I went over 50%, so it wasted the fifth use. But I drank half the milk, half the cornflakes, 3 kiwis, and the pear. And everything is great except the vitamin D. I need another 4 micrograms. But when I go to the cornflakes, I see that every use gives me 1.1 microgram, and every use of the milk gives me 1 microgram. So I can just finish the cornflakes because the contents in my stomach lowered now that I gave it a gap. And by the time that this cornflakes has finished processing on body, I go from 77% to 100%. Now, you might say, why does that matter? It matters because if you run out of vitamin D, it will start having a negative effect on your character. Not a negative effect that you're going to see as clear as daylight, but being low on vitamins and minerals will mean that you get sick easier, you take longer to recover from a common cold. It's there for a reason. Can you play and ignore it? Yes. But why ignore it? Like everything we bought cost us $400. Why can't you spend $400 just to keep your vitamins and minerals good? Keep your energy good. Keep your energy below 50% so that you always gain dexterity. Put your character under pressure so that you always, maximizing the time that you're using. Use a mountain bike. Of course, a mountain bike is the best way to gain constitution, especially when you make sure your weight is close to your max weight. Now, I'm just going to fix the quests, but I see a lot of people telling me they started with 1 constitution and they can't get the constitution up. Or they started with, or the other guy that tells me, I don't know what I'm talking about because, he starts with 1 dexterity and he has no problem. Or a person that starts with 1 strength. Now, realistically, there's not a lot of people that starts with 1 strength, but there's a lot of people that starts with 1 constitution or 1 dexterity. Instead of starting like with 1 intelligence because, they haven't done a band of bunkers yet. Now, I won't start with 1 strength or 1 intelligence, even though I can do a band of bunkers because I know it's going to take me a while to upgrade my intelligence 4 times because every time I get a memory module, and I fill them, I first have to fill it by doing multiple abandoned bunkers, and then I have to pay $5,000 to make sure, that I'm not taking a random chance of increasing my intelligence. So that's going to take a long time. And I don't want to be stuck on 1 intelligence because then I'll be stuck with basic medical. My skills will be stuck on a basic level. But the way I started, by the time that these skills get to advanced, I'll be able to get to 3. I'll be able to upgrade 2 intelligence modules. But let me just fix the quest and let me give you guys an example of how important your tributes combined with your skills really are in Scum. Okay, so I just deleted all the custom quests. I mean, all the settings are default, but to delete the custom quest, you have to go to a different folder. And we got 2 blue batteries from a puppet. We just want to make sure that we don't use a smartphone battery. Okay, we don't have a smartphone battery on us. So that's very good. So that gives us 5 fame and $700. $5 fame and $700. if you don't do quests and you just play the game normally, if you don't kill any puppets, if you don't do any activities, you only gain 1 fame every 20 minutes. So instead of doing 1 quest or killing a few puppets, getting 2 blue batteries, that would have taken you an hour and 40 minutes to gain 5 fame. If you do kill puppets and you do play actively, it's going to take you about an hour to gain 5 fame. So every time you do a quest, you're saving an hour of your life to get to that fame that you need. Okay, we don't have a lot of options here, so that's not very good. But we can always just come back later and look at our progress. We need to do 3 tier 1 quests to be able to do the armor, and then 3 at the armor to open up the mechanic, and 3 at the mechanic to open up the doctor. And then we need to do 6 tier 1 quests to be able to do tier 2 quests, and then we need to do 12 tier 2 quests to be able to do tier 3 quests at each and every trader. So even if this trader doesn't have, what I need, I can always go to the other 3 traders. It's going to take a long time, but I mean, I've got that option. Or what I can do is 3 soap. I can go and collect 3 soap, 3 chocolate candies. The 10 duct tape is very, very hard, but maybe 3 soap, maybe 3 chocolate candies. Okay? And what I have to do for that is basically just go to a town. So we're going to see if we can get 3 soap and 3 chocolate candies. Although I know if I go to my old area, there's quite a few bathrooms there. But I mean, technically, a town would be better. But we're going to end off this video by just showing you how attributes and skills make a major difference to your experience. And every single time
I'll have a look.
I log out, I rest, even if I don't have an exhaustion problem. It's just a good habit. Because if you don't rest in a bed every single time you log out, at some point you are going to have a long session, like over a weekend, play for 6 hours, have a major exhaustion problem, forget to sleep in a bed or rest in a bed when you log out, and then your next session is going to be terrible because the exhaustion is going to be affecting your strength and your dexterity and your constitution and everything. Okay? So let's look at what a massive impact your attributes combined with your skills have. Okay, here we have a 1 strength character with no brawling or melee weapon skill versus an armored puppet. Oh. 18 shots with 2 haymakers. Five shots with a spear. Here we have Our standard, ignore the rest. We just focus on strength for now. Our standard 4.5 strength character, advanced brawling, and medium melee weapons. With no archery. I have to put in the haymaker. 3, 4, 5. Okay, that was a combo, but it was basically one haymaker with 5 shots instead of 2 haymakers with 18 shots. Kill an armored puppet. Plus, we can carry 50 kilograms before we are forced to jog instead of run. It was 5 shots with the spear, you know. Four shots with the spear. Now we're going to test a 35-pound bow. Okay. Now we're going to test the 35-pound bow. No crosshair. The crosshair is disappearing really, really fast. Okay, look how slow I pull back this bow. And with the 1 strength character, we can only carry 25 kilograms before we are forced to jog because we'll be over encumbered. That's half the weight of a 4.5 character. Plus, let's see how long it takes to pull back a 35-pound bow. Okay, those were all headshots. Try and hit him in the body. Look how long it takes to pull back this bow, and look how fast I'm losing control of the bow. Now for my favorite one, which a lot of people get wrong. And the reason this is my favorite one, I'm just going to start at the 50-meter mark. Is because we are here at the 50-meter mark. The star of the showdown event, my son Blue, started with 3 constitution, but he took advanced endurance. But what he didn't realize is that running affects how fast you use stamina, how fast you can run, and how fast you can jog. Endurance only affects how fast your stamina recovers and how much water and energy you're using, which is very, very minimal. So Blue actually started the showdown event with me with advanced, with 3 constitution and advanced endurance. And within 3 hours of running with me, he redid his character because he couldn't keep up with me. He had to rest like every 5 minutes, or like I could lose him very quickly. He couldn't stay with me. We couldn't play together. We couldn't get resource together because he was basically just useless. So we're starting at the 50-meter mark with 1 constitution, no running and no endurance. Okay? Let's see how far we get before we run out of stamina at the 50-meter mark. Okay. 450 meters, and we're dead tired. And we have to rest. And our max running speed is 27.5 kilometers per hour. But with clothes on, 27 kilometers per hour. Plus, if we get hit by a puppet. Okay, so clearly the brawling makes a big difference because you've got 3 strength. The other problem you're going to have is every time a puppet hits you, there's going to be external pathogens and wound germs. And the more puppets hit you, the more external pathogens you're going to have, the more wound germs you're going to have. But your immune system is going to be too weak to fight it. You can see our base decrease rate of the pathogens and wounds is 0.8. Okay, that's 0.9. So we're just keeping up with it. Okay, so 27 kilometers per hour max running speed. Plus we can only run 450 meters before we get tired. Let's see the difference now. Okay, we didn't take anything major. We just started with 3 constitution and advanced running. Now our max running speed went from 27 kilometers per hour to 31.6 kilometers per hour. Just because we started with 3 constitution and advanced running. Now let's see how far we get from the 50 meter mark. Last time we got to the 500 meter mark. Here comes the 500 meter mark. Blue is tired. Blue can't run anymore. Blue's lying down, regaining his stamina. Or someone with advanced endurance instead of advanced running is lying down at the 500 meter mark. Okay, so that is 900 meters instead of 450 meters. We just ran twice the distance because we took advanced running instead of advanced endurance. Imagine what it's like playing with a friend, running around the map with a friend that doesn't stick to the fundamental basics. Okay? He can't keep up with you. You have to wait for him every 450 meters when you can run 900 meters. And we've got the same amount of strength, but we took advanced brawling. So this is what happens when we run into an armored puppet. Want to get my stamina back? This is what happens when we run into an armored puppet. Just because of advanced brawling. Exactly the same strength, but just advanced brawling. And if a puppet hits us, our base decrease rate is 4%. Our immune system, because of our constitution, because we've got 3 constitution, our base rate that is fighting the external pathogens and wound germs is 4 times higher. Okay, so you're going to suffer from infections a lot more. It says there, influences health points, stamina, damage and status effects, resistances, immune system, calorie and water consumption efficiency. Okay, now let's go look at the last one, where some people tell me I'm dumb for not starting with 1 dexterity. Let's talk about it. Okay. I don't suggest anyone to start with 1 intelligence. Okay. You're going to be increasing your skills a little bit slower. And you're going to have to do a poop ton of abandoned bunkers. But we're just going to focus on dexterity. With 1 dexterity, the biggest reason why I tell you to start with 2.5 dexterity minimum is with 1 dexterity, you can only, if you put all your points into thievery, you can only go basic and halfway to medium. Okay? I'm just going to destroy all the puppets in the vicinity. And the reason that I tell most players to start with at least 2.5 dexterity is because there's only 3 kinds of people that can start with 1 dexterity. One of them is a person that spent hundreds of hours on a lockpicking board and hundreds of hours training lockpicking. You have to ask yourself if you're one of those people. And the other 2 people are people that use lockpicking scripts like macros or special keyboards or spatial sensitivity, basically exploiting lockpicking, and then cheaters, of course, that can see where the sweet spot is, but you don't know that they know where the sweet spot is because you can't see their overlay. So with 1 dexterity, we've got 50,000 XP. If we open up 1 police station locker, we gained 240 experience. Okay, so that is 4 for 1,000 times 50. Okay, we have to open up like 4 police station lockers to gain 1,000 experience. Plus 50 is 200. We have to open up 200 police station lockers, get to medium, and then we're on our way to advanced. Okay, if you don't have a problem with lockpicking, fine. Most of us do have a problem with lockpicking, so that's going to take way too long. Plus, you can see our running speed is a lot slower. Remember, we're still on 3 Constitution. Okay, now we didn't take advanced running, so our running speed would have been a little bit better. But I mean, we can only carry 39 kilograms. Okay, but I want you to ignore everything. The reason I will never start with a character with 1 dexterity is because of the lockpicking. The other reasons is movement speed, action speed, including crafting, eating, and reloading. Okay, but that's not major to me. The lockpicking is major. So what does it look like when you start with the build that I have figured out over hundreds of hours? Okay, so here we have our exact build that I told you about. Okay, and that I showed in the first video. And with 2.5 dexterity, we can get up to 67% on our way to advanced. Remember, you have to open up 200 police station lockers. You have to use 200 screwdrivers just to get to medium. And then you're going to need to use a poop ton of screwdrivers just to get to 67% thievery. But how much experience am I going to gain? Because I already have 67% in dexterity. So we've got 666,000. Let's just say 667,000. Okay. How much do we gain? Okay, we have to be precise. 666,700. How much do we gain when we open up 1 police station locker? Almost 500. Okay, let's say roughly 500 because just like with the other one, it's going to increase a little bit over time. So we can round it down to 500 experience per police station locker. And we are missing 230,000 experience. That means 230,000, 46. No, not 46, 460. Yeah. So we're getting 500 experience, but we need to gain another 230,000 experience. So that's 460 lockers. Am I saying that right? Yeah, it can't be 46. Yeah, it can't be 46. So 460 lockers and we're at advanced. Okay, 460 screwdrivers and we're at advanced. Now remember, with the 1 dexterity, you need to open up 200 lockers just to get to medium. Now, if I need 460, if I need to open up 460, let me see if I've got that right. I just want to make sure I've got that right. Okay. So it's 230,000 divided by 500 equal. Yeah, it's 460. Yeah, I've got that right. So I'm only shorting 33% to get to advanced. So if I need to open up 460 police station lockers to get to advanced, you're going to need 200 screwdrivers to get to medium, and then 460 times 3. So that's 1,380. You still need to open up 1,380 lockers to get to advanced thievery. If you're not good with the lockpicking board, which most of us aren't. So if you're not good with the lockpicking board, opening up police station lockers is the most effective way. So if you start with 1 dexterity, you have to open up the 200 lockers to get to medium. And then you need to open up 1,380. which gives you roughly 1,600 police station lockers that you have to open up before you get to advanced, before you're really getting the benefits of advanced thievery, which makes lock picking a lot easier for you, which enables you to do kill boxes easier, which enables you to do Brenner's armories easier, which enables you to raid easier, blah, 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 because thievery is the most powerful skill in the game, but also the most difficult skill in the game. So 400 versus 1,600, you are going to spend, if it takes me a month, I'm just going to take a rough number. If it takes me a month to reach advanced thievery, it's going to take you 4 months to reach advanced thievery. Doesn't matter how quickly you can get your dexterity to climb. You're still going to need to do the work with the police station lockers. I rest my case. So guys, I hope this gives you a very good example that your attributes are extremely important, and the skills that you can take with the attributes are also extremely important. Sticking to the basics, doing the fundamental, taking it slow, not taking shortcuts, playing a survival game, focusing on the journey instead of the destination. All of these things matter. Okay? To make life way easier for yourself and a lot harder for the puppets. If you like the video, click the like button. If you want to see future videos where I show you how to master the best survival game on the planet, click the bell button to be notified of future videos. Cheers.